go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Cleveland is the city and town, orange and brown. You know what's going down, we reppin' that dog pound. Fans going crazy, dogs want a bone. Offense headed straight to the end zone. Ground game, pound game, this is our season. Now we need to stop. Let's go defense, special team, running back 6 for the score. Extra point good and the whole crowd roar. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, here we go.
Good afternoon, what's up and what's good? And welcome to Locked On Sports 216 Cleveland Browns pregame show with me, Keith Allen, and my man Ed in Columbus on this soggy Sunday afternoon.
Yes. Welcome, Keith. Last day of the regular season for our Cleveland Browns. And who would have thought, Keith? Who would have thought when we went on this journey and week by week, you hit me up and say, you want to do another one? I'm like, let's do another one. And you know what? We're turning this into something. Locked On Sports 216 pregame is the place to be. And
yes, sir.
But we got a meaningless football game today, Keith. But you know what? I don't think it's not meaningless. You know what? All Browns fans, it's nice to say that because it's a cool thing to say. It's meaningless because we clinched our number 5 spot. We know what we're doing, and I love that about it. But you know what? It's not meaningless. We're going to watch it. Every Browns fan's going to watch it. And you know what? Whether we win or lose, it kind of still matters. It's the Battle of Ohio. We'll get into that.
Yeah, it's the Battle of Ohio, and I like to send Jamar Chase home under 500.
Thank you, Keith. Because as a Browns fan, I know the right answer would be like, and we're gonna have the great debate again. I think on We Like Sports
because I keep receipts. I remember when he was talking that bullshit back before opening game that we were the elves or something.
That's right.
But he's the biggest elf.
Well, he's going to be, you know what, Keith? I don't know if he's an elf, but he's going to be on the shelf for the postseason because he's not making it, and that's the best.
Sure isn't. And guess who sent them home? The other team they disrespected, Kansas City. Yeah.
They lost to the Tay-Tays.
Karma, ain't that a bitch? and I even got the Cincinnati Bengals field on there today because that's where the Browns at today. So, hey. We're traveling today. But first off, let's get to things first. Because I got a lot in store today, believe it or not.
Okay.
Got a whole lot in store. First off, to everybody that's watching, good afternoon. For those of y'all that are up, because I ain't going to lie, Sunday ain't shit to do. Football game that ain't really of no consequence at all. If you sleep, I get it. I understand. But if your ass is awake, chat lines are open. Feel free to holler at us. We're open for your questions and answers.
Yeah, right. We just want to talk. We like to talk. We just
want to talk. We just want to talk shit or whatever. So, hey, feel free to holler at us. Shout out to everybody that's watching on LinkedIn. Shout out to everybody that's watching on YouTube. Also, shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. That's on the Locked On Sports page on Facebook and on Twitter. And did I mention something else? And on X. It's actually X now.
Yeah, right.
It's X now. It's X now. But feel free to holler at us. The chat lines are open and everything. And I got some other things I want to show. Okay. Also, before get sidetracked, subscribe to the Alanviz Media 2 YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to the Alanviz Media YouTube channel and ring the bell and get notified whenever we come on. But anyway, let's go. I got the board again. And I had to figure out what I was going to put on the board. Because it really wasn't shit for the Browns to play for today. There's no consequence. But I came up with a few things. And let's go to the
Okay.
board. Let's go to the board real quick. What to look forward, instead of the Browns keys and points, I said what to look forward to today for the game. And number one, can Driscoll be the backup quarterback in the playoffs? Open trial today for him. Show is his.
That's telling. You know what that's telling me, Keith? Because we've had, we know Flacco's going in as a starter, but you know what it's telling me about Stefanski and the Browns? What I really like about this whole Driscoll situation is they've basically said to the team and to everybody that we've seen enough from DTR, we've seen enough from PJ Walker, and if this guy who is a veteran who has played games and won games in the NFL. I'm not too familiar with the Jeff Driscoll bio, but I know that he's been in Arizona, been in Cincinnati. He's been in these one game. And I think Stefanski thinks if Stefanski can teach Joe Flacco the offense as quickly as Joe Flacco learned it, but by Driscoll being the backup, if he can go out there and move the ball and don't turn the ball over, I think that's the key, Keith. He goes there and doesn't turn the ball over, which we'll get into that, I'm sure. We're
getting into it.
Maybe Stefanski wants him to be the backup, and that's okay. It only makes the Browns better.
And it says a lot for PJ Walker because DTR on IR anyway, so
right.
He ain't coming back this season. He's done for the year, so it's not an indictment on him. But it does say a lot for PJ Walker and everything. So
I mean, maybe Stefanski doesn't want to have a heart attack like we do every time PJ Walker takes a snap.
Hey, could be right. Could be right. But can Driscoll claim it? It's his audition today. Matter of fact, it's a lot of people's auditions today.
Right.
Because, today is the day. Well, we're going to go to number 2. And you see that I changed the writing this time on number 2. Usually I say no damn turnovers. Now
I like screaming that. Yeah.
Now I'm just asking, can we possibly, even though I don't think it's going to happen today, but can we possibly get through this game with no turnovers? What you think, Ed?
Well, here's the thing. I think Stefanski made it difficult when obviously you decide to go with Driscoll. Then you're going to obviously sit as many people. So I think playing a clean football, I think it all depends on Driscoll's ability to read the defenses and make the right throws. Now, I think you're going to have receivers, you're going to have younger cats playing, you're going to have at all different positions. So I think if Driscoll, it comes down to Stefanski's looking at Driscoll and basically he's the number one cat that he's scouting and thinking if he's processing just like Joe Flacco, if he's looking thinking, okay, that was the right read. Joe would have made that throw, but because I got this fourth string in, or because this key. It's not that we're playing backups today. The Browns have had so many injuries this year. We're playing backups on backups on backups on backups on backups.
Which is going to lead me to my next point, I think. I think this should be my next point. This is going to lead me to my next point since we are playing. Who is still hungry today? Because you got to think about it. Complacency can set in. And also, they did clinch a playoff spot, so they really ain't got shit to play for. But another thing is, we seen something quite disturbing in the Houston game, especially with the backup defense. And they didn't seem to be hungry. And you got a lot of people probably saying, I need playing time and stuff like that. And we got to see who's hungry today. Because a lot of people who normally don't get time are going to get that time today.
I'm glad you had the sequential order that you had it, because I get that because of the way you had it with 2 and 3 being laid out perfectly like you did. I get to say backups on backups on backups on backups on backups on backups, and you asked
led right into it.
I got to say that again because it answered number 2, but this is not the answer to number 3. But these are the subjects involved with the hunger and that desire. It's the backups on backups on backups. And guess what? They are going to be hungry today. Here's why. Because I think that when you're going out with Driscoll and you're going out with who's going to be that extra wide receiver, who goes in first. You're playing a playoff game, and Amari Cooper, oh my God, comes up after a play and his leg hurts. Okay, he's out of who's that next receiver that comes in? And I think that's what they're playing for today. Stefanski's going to look his playoff time. He wants veterans. He has Flacco, and he's obviously wants wants to play Driscoll because he trusts Driscoll. You know what I'm saying? He wants Driscoll to go out there and play mistake-free so he can say, this is my backup, because I think Stefanski realizes that, and he's becoming a better coach, just like Pittsburgh. Why does Mike Tomlin always win? We always talk about he doesn't have these teams. These teams are not as good, but he always ends up 10-7.
Sure does.
Here's why: mistake-free football. The Steelers don't win sexy, but how did they mistake? Whoever team commits the less mistakes will win. And I think Stefanski's finally realizing that a little bit more.
He's finally starting to catch on.
Who goes for it on fourth down more? It's coming sometimes like the Jim Tressel. You know what? The punt's not a bad thing. And when you have Bojorquez, use it. You have that defense. Use that defense. You'll score when it's necessary. But you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's what the Bengals. We always talk about Joe Burrow. He's not a lot of Browns fans think Joe Burrow isn't as good as what the media overhypes him. Maybe we have some validity to him because we beat him as a Browns team. I get that. But Joe Burrow knows when it's winning time. And Aaron Rodgers did too when he was at Green Bay. And I think that's what Stefanski's finally realizing, that they have the quarterback, but now you have to coach like that as well.
Yes. And like I said, we're going to see, because we've seen the backups in Houston. It didn't look too good.
But that was the first time that's the thing. The backups on backups on backups on backups. That was the first time they had extended play time. And, and Houston was fighting for, one thing about it, we weren't there yet. Today's not, we know going into this game, we've clinched for number 5. That Houston game, that was a little dicey, Keith. That's why it got dicey as Browns fans, because, we needed to win that game still. You can't just, we're up 36-7, and Stefanski, you really only want to win by 1 point. You're giving us a heart attack there. But I think the backups realized that. But today, less pressure, Keith. They don't have to win this game. That's the difference.
And truthfully today also, our backups know, with the way the injuries have piled up, they're only one play away from starting.
That's the hunger and the motivation, because they know they're that much closer to playing now in meaningful games now come playoff time, which is only next week. We only got 1 week.
Right. And if they don't believe that, ask Hickman. Ask DeAnthony Bell. Ask Taki. Ask who's ever put on the quarterback number for the Browns this year. This is the 5th quarterback this year.
We got 5 on it.
Ask Kareem Hunt. He was sitting at home on the couch with Nick Chubb bust his knee up. Ask anybody on the offensive line.
I don't even know who their names are anymore.
Christian is at left tackle, and my man Hudson is at Christian is at left tackle, and James Hudson is at right tackle. But think about that. Huh?
Somebody else. Sorry to cut you, but isn't there somebody else on that offensive line that I don't like? I've seen him lately too.
They signed a local kid, Sappho, to the practice squad.
Okay.
2-time Pro Bowler. Yeah, he's 2-time Pro Bowler and things. They signed him to the practice squad, but like I said, they never know. You never know when it's your time. For real. You never know. So, hey, they got to be hungry today, and I want them to sock it to the Bengals. Even though I'm going to go to something else later on, which is going to mess up my what's name, but I don't care. And number 4, hopefully we can get through this game injury-free. No more injuries, please.
Well, I think that's a large ask for the Browns team this
year.
But here's what I'm going to say this. I hope you're right. I hope there's no injuries. But if there are going to be injuries, we talk about the backups on backups. Hopefully it's one of the, it's not because we're not playing too many starters, but I'm sure there's some starters we're playing. We're not playing every single backup, are we? I mean, not every. No,
I don't think so. So
if there is a starter out there, I hope it's not you. That's what I'm prepping. I just hope it's not you.
Right. It's like, I hope it ain't no starters out there. Yeah. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, and they may not start, but they may be like a cornerback that has to come in and play. Or, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think I haven't seen. I know that they showed the inactives and I had the notable names and everything, but I mean, I don't think they can possibly go. I mean, Bojorquez is going to probably punt, I would think, right?
Yeah, Bojorquez is punting. Yeah,
Bojorquez. I don't want him getting hurt.
Yeah, because I think I would have kept the other punter for another week.
I think so too. I think you're but maybe they wanted to get him. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe punting's one of those. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
They wanted to get Bojorquez back assimilated to the task at hand.
They can always sign that guy. That Hawk or whatever his name was. I forget the punter's name, but they can always just hopefully just re-sign him if they need to. Say re-aggravates that injury or something. I would hope.
Yes. But it's crazy. It's crazy because you know what? We're not used to this.
No.
We ain't got shit to play for. But I'm gonna do some throwback Sundays.
Mm.
In the beginning of the season, when we first started, and it was against Cincinnati, matter of fact. Now, I'm going to go by, let's see, look, the standings are as is. Baltimore's 13-4, first place. We're 11-5. Pittsburgh is 10-7, and Cincinnati is 8-8. Now, back in September, Ed said, got Pittsburgh right.
Yeah.
And you might have the Browns right.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, you know, they lost Burrow and all that. But hell, ain't no excuses for Cincinnati shit. We lost Watson. We lost everybody. So, hell. What do you think?
Keith, I want to talk about this. So here's the deal. Here's why. If you look at Ed's AFC North standings, I want to tell you how great this scenario is and why I predicted it the way that it is. And Keith, why actually it should have been this way. I believe the Browns are going to be 11-6. Okay, here's and then you look at Pittsburgh. I nailed Pittsburgh. That's a beautiful thing. 10-7.
Yes, you did.
Nailed Pittsburgh. Probably nailed Cleveland. Let's be real. Probably nailed Cleveland. I don't want to say that.
Yes, you did.
Okay, but you flip Cincinnati and Baltimore, and here's what I thought. You always say in Lamar, you trust. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And honestly, I'll be real with you. I did too, because you make up a great point. You say beautiful things on this show. That's why people need to watch this show. But you've always said this. You've always said this. If Lamar doesn't get hurt, do the Bengals, are they representing the AFC in the Super Bowl and winning the division both years? No, they're not. And what's the difference this year? What's the difference in my predictions? Lamar didn't get hurt, and Burrow got hurt. You flip-flop those, and I nailed it. I almost had a perfect stand. Perfect.
Because the thing I used to always say is, the last 2 years before this year, Lamar got hurt. Baltimore was in the lead like 2-3 games each time.
Right. I thought he would get hurt. That's the only difference. I didn't think Burrow would get hurt. And you flip-flop those two, it's pretty dead on.
Yes. Now we're going to take a flashback on mine.
Okay. Let's do that.
Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I had Baltimore 10-7, but I had that based on Lamar possibly getting hurt this year.
Exactly. Right. You did what I did.
Yes. Pittsburgh, I was kind of spot on.
You kind of 10-7 and 9-8. Honestly, Keith.
Yeah.
I look at your standings, and yet it's quite different than mine. But if you look at the justifications, and it's almost the same. It's almost the same.
Definitely. Because you look at it now, Cincinnati quarterback got hurt. They're down in 4. Pittsburgh is in 3. Which everybody expected Pittsburgh to be 3rd or 4th this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody expected different and stuff. 3rd or 4th, and the Browns. Everybody. Well, us.
You got it right.
Us. We expected the Browns to be good. Yeah. Now all the national media is slowly climbing upon the tree.
And I want to shout out to Yvette on Bougie Sports. I want to shout her out because she had on Adam Rank, who was on, I believe, NFL Network or something, and he predicted on 6-11 became that guy sucks, and it was a big thing in Cleveland. And shout out to her for having him on. But,
I got receipts. I remember watching the show, and a local guy that's on one of the national shows predicted the Browns 6-11.
You don't have to name names, but I mean, you can.
I'm not going to name names, but
no names,
I'm just saying. I got receipts. That's why I'm looking at the national media like, really? Really? We all knew it was going to be good. Everybody knew it was going to be good if they could stay injury-free. And think about this. The Browns were good despite all the injuries, despite leading the league in turnovers, which I still can't wrap my mind about that. Injuries, 5 different quarterbacks this year. 5. Usually you only get 5 victories. And
right.
Of the 4 that has played, they all got a win this year.
That's the kicker right there. The wins.
Yes, Deshaun was 5-1. PJ Walker 2-1. How? I don't know how. DTR 1-2. And Flacco's been 3-1, 4-1, something like that. 4-1.
4-1, yeah.
Just literally amazing. And which really, I'm gonna say this: Stefanski gonna get some coaches fired this year.
Isn't it nice that we're doing, instead of the fire?
He gonna get some coaches fired.
Yeah.
He gonna get some coaches fired this year. But
he might get some coaches hired, Keith. He might, with Jim Schwartz and the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He might get some coaches hired in some higher positions by winning. So
so we better find
both ways. It goes.
We gotta start looking for another defensive coordinator then, basically.
Yeah, Joe Woods ain't coming back, is he?
Hell no, shit, fuck that.
You look at, but you know what? I think his defense, and I don't know how much defensive coordinator he actually is, because I know isn't he down in New Orleans, and I think he's got like a different kind of
like a consultant or something, or quality control
their
person.
Defense, I think, is ranked pretty good though. I think he's having a good year.
But New Orleans had a pretty good defense before Joe Woods.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, he's there. You know what? You can't. He's. You know what? I just look. I don't want him back in Cleveland, but I just want to give him and say, like, you know what? It's nice. It's nice that you don't always have to get worse when you leave Cleveland, because a lot of times these coaches, people always say the Haslam's fire coaches. But let's be real, Keith. Is there any coach that the Haslam's have fired since 2012 that you said, we need him back?
No.
No, right. Okay. So essentially, but they may have fired him too quickly, or maybe in Hugh Jackson's case, too long. They took too long. But at the end of the day, let's be real. Stefanski, I don't know if he, I'm saying whatever the case may be, he's been the best that we've had. I mean, I don't think that.
Yes, he's been the best that we've had since we've came back. For real.
Like that. I think, I used to think Butch Davis, if he didn't have his, because he lost his shit. Butch Davis eventually had a meltdown. He lost his shit and had anxiety or something. They can't play him.
He tried to take over. He tried to handle too many hats.
Yes.
I think Butch Davis would have lasted here had they gave him a GM that was strong enough to handle.
Well,
Butch
that's
Davis.
the thing, because he had his buddy or whatever, Phil Savage. No, it was who was with him? It was
it wasn't Savage. It was
he was after. It was after with the
Garcia, somebody.
Pete Garcia. But Pete Garcia, and he was just a yes man, just like he was. And you're right. And Butch Davis really was both the GM and the head coach, and that's what killed him.
He burnt out. But we got some games that we can do a prognostication on, since really today this game we really don't give a fuck about. But we're going to do a prognostication on that anyway.
Okay, I love that.
We're going to do a prognostication on it anyway. But let's go to we're going to start with the games we really don't give a fuck about. But the games you don't give a fuck about don't affect us anything. But we're going to go to the NFC South, because, their division is still up for grabs.
Okay.
And, actually 3 teams are in the fight. 2 teams. Well, three if you look at it. Shit.
Yeah,
shit
there's
goes
a scenario
crazy.
where,
And this might be the Justin Fields Bowl coming up right here. The Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints. Shame on both of you for not trying to go after Lamar Jackson. That's why your asses is where you at now. But y'all had y'all chance, but y'all wanted to collude. That's why your franchises is fucked up. Ed, who you got?
I touted his name. We talked about it in the last segment. Give me the Saints. Oh, when the Saints come marching into Joe Woods, I don't know what he's doing for that defense. Like you said, consulting, or maybe just whispering, one word, or maybe they're paying him to stay away from the building. Maybe they hired him and they're like, Joe Woods, you know what? You're no good. Just we're gonna pay you to stay away. So whatever the case may be, I'm taking a Joe Woods, whatever defense, and the Saints to beat the Bucs today, 24-17 in classic NFC South style.
I want it to be all fucked up. Because you know what? Atlanta team has fucked with me all year this year when I was in the pick 'em for my job and everything. When I don't predict these dudes to win, these motherfuckers all of a sudden put a rabbit out their ass and get a victory. So today, against New Orleans, then New Orleans fucks me over too.
So I don't fucks with them. I don't fucks with them.
I don't fucks with neither one of them, for real. But today, I'm going to go with Atlanta in the upset. Fuck it, I ain't got shit to lose. Let's make utterly chaos in the AFC South.
Okay.
NFC South.
Fuck them too.
I got Atlanta winning it somehow fluky, like
Okay.
23-17 or 23-21. I got Atlanta.
Okay.
Why?
Very
I
good.
don't know. But it's the Justin Fields Bowl because, hey, they should have both been going after Lamar, but hey, who am I? But staying in the AFC South, Casey will be happy for this one. He's probably smiling right now with his Baker Mayfield jersey on as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go up to Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. Ed, who do you
Well,
have?
well, I have been notoriously, and I will admit, I was a little bit of a Baker Mayfield troll. I would a lot of Baker Bros. At first, they would find me funny, but then they grew sick of me because I continuously love this joke, and I think this joke is perfect for this game, and here's why. Baker Mayfield, I felt, always came up short in Cleveland. But today, Keith, he gets to go to Carolina and play a quarterback who's even shorter than Bryce Young. So I'm going to say, Baker, I got your back. Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, in a joke that I would usually use for you, come up short, and Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the division 26-18.
All right. I'm going to be honest. Usually Baker comes up short in these moments. You're right. You're absolutely right. Came up short last week when he could have just clinched the motherfucker all along. But I think this week Baker is going to break through. And by the way, Baker is in the running for Comeback Player of the Year this year.
Deservingly so. He's put up great
Yeah,
numbers.
he has.
Yeah.
I ain't even going to even knock it or hate on him and stuff. And good for Baker. He's had a resurgent season. And the thing that's most importantly for Baker this year, he stayed out the way.
Yeah, because even when he was struggling, I felt that this Baker was more mature in the fact that, just like in Cleveland with Stefanski, and when that 2020 season, say what you want, but there are many games that Baker didn't play well, and he had about 5 great games that he played in 2020. You look at it, but you know what? At the end of the year, he has about 26 touchdowns, like 9 interceptions,
28
wow.
and 10. Yeah, 28 and 10.
You look at Stefanski when he was in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins. Those are those kind of numbers. Those are Baker numbers 2020. Baker's definitely putting on that kind of where is he going to be great? No, but I think Baker has a ceiling of a Kirk Cousins. He just needs to do it consistently. He just needs to consistently do it. And then you look at those numbers and because look at Kirk Cousins in Washington. Look at his numbers. You're like, he didn't win, but damn, did he put up some nice numbers?
He did put up some numbers.
I mean, and Baker, you look at, because if you ask somebody right now, you go on the street, how many touchdowns does Baker Mayfield? They'd say, yeah, he had a resurgence of a season, but you said 28. They're like, whoa, that's a lot.
Because I was shocked when I found that out. I was like, damn, he got 28.
32 today, that's 30.
And he almost got 4,000 yards passing this year.
So maybe, like I said, he's obviously had a resurgence, but it's one that hopefully he can carry on and hopefully have the consistency. Has always been Baker's trouble and issues. And you know what? Maybe Tampa is the right home for him. I wish him well, and he'll get that division title today and a playoff berth, I believe.
Yeah. And Baker is one of those ones, I say this, when you're not looking, that's when he does his most damage.
That's true.
But then when you're looking and you're looking for him to just break through, he doesn't necessarily break through. But I think today, Tampa breaks through. And I think they beat Carolina 27-23.
But it shouldn't have came down to this because last week at home.
No, it shouldn't have.
They lost to the Saints. Was it like it was 17, not 20 something? I mean, they didn't score. It was a complete meltdown. That's the kind of Baker hopefully he can bounce back from today because, like I said, I just think Carolina's bad enough where
they're terrible. They're terrible. And think about this. You got the owner throwing shit at fans.
Right. They look like the Browns. There's some issues going on here, like back in the day.
Jimmy Haslam wasn't even that bad.
No. But we always had our issues, whether it be, even at the facility. I mean,
but when you're throwing stuff in, you fired your first-year coach halfway into the season. That's a bad situation in Carolina. Then most of the people that's on the coaching staff wanted C.J. Stroud instead of Bryce Young.
That is going to be one of those things for the next 15 years. If you're a Carolina Panthers fan, which probably ain't that many of you, let's be real.
And trust and believe, we know
you got to think
when
every
when you draft a quarterback and you fail at number one, set your organization back.
Yeah. Well, that's why even Browns fans can argue, like, look, it sucked that maybe we should have took Josh Allen or Lamar or whoever. I get that. But at the same time, at least Baker is going and having, success. And you can say, but then we got, Deshaun Watson. So you can say the Browns, whatever. You can say what you want, but at least they went out and got a franchise quarterback. If you're the Carolina Panthers, what do you do? Do you just draft Caleb? Who got the number one pick? Did they have the number one pick?
Chicago has the number one pick.
Right. So what do they do? So they move on. They take Caleb Williams. If you're Carolina, my point is this: Cleveland tried to rectify they took Baker. He wasn't the right answer, so they got Deshaun Watson. Okay, kudos to them. But at the same time, what if you're Carolina? I'm just putting you in Carolina GM right now. What do you do? Because do you think Bryce Young's the answer? I don't. I think not only did you miss on C.J. Stroud, I think you missed on Bryce Harper or Bryce Young, I should say.
Because my thing with Young is he's slight of body for one. Then he's only like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
And in today's NFL, that doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying?
You rag on Jalen Hurts, and rightfully so. I think sometimes, like, a lot of people think Jalen Hurts is better than he is, but I'll give Keith credit. Got to give Keith credit because you say this all the time. You look at his numbers; they're not much better than you. People bang on Deshaun, but you look at the like Jalen Hurts for getting paid like he did, and being as great as the national media likes to make him out.
Getting paid more.
Yeah, he's not that. Like, seriously, and I think Bryce Young won't even get to that. Like, he's not even going to be a. No. Let's be real, and that's the number one. C.J. Stroud. Let's be real, Keith. Watching C.J. Stroud, he has the potential to be the next Joe Montana.
C.J. Stroud is bad. I'm gonna be honest.
So good. He is so good.
And people used to ask me, "Would you draft Young or Stroud?" I was like, "I draft Stroud. Fuck that. Ain't no way in hell. I'm not taking no chance like that." And Carolina in the pickle. Who is going to want to coach that team?
Nobody. Hard. I think I heard Tepper or whatever like that. He doesn't want to relinquish control, and Harbaugh would consider going there, but he's got to relinquish the control. And I don't.
Harbaugh is not going to Carolina.
I know. I think Tepper would want him though, because he's crazy like that. But I just don't. I think Harbaugh has too many other choices that he could go. He could go the Raiders.
Harbaugh would want total control.
Yep, and rightfully so.
And he would tell Tepper to put himself in a muzzle.
Yeah, and I don't know if Tepper's kind of, I don't know. He's a strange cat.
Very strange. And I'm like, oof, well, sucks to be them. But we're going to go to the night. Well, not actually tonight yet. We got another game which determines our opponent in the AFC South. You have, there we go. Got the Jaguars going to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Jaguars, if they win the division, I think. Am I right?
That is correct.
If they win the division, and the Browns will be going down to Jacksonville. If not, the Jaguars will be home and disappointed after a disappointing season, after a division title last year and a comeback playoff win last year, and taking Kansas City to the brink. And just this year, just to implode after being 8-3 at one point. Who you got, Ed?
Well, if the Jaguars lose, the Steelers are in.
Yeah.
I mean, you did a nice job of laying that all out in all the scenarios, and you were absolutely correct in everything you said. But the one thing as a Browns fan that you know what? Do I think Jacksonville's going to win, though? That's the thing here. I want Tennessee to – so let's just say this so people don't come after me. I want Tennessee to win.
Mm-hmm.
They really – I don't think they have much to play for, but getting a better draft pick if they lose, which might be better for them.
That's it. They might draft another quarterback for the third year in a row.
Yeah, so I'm just I give me Jacksonville, and I hope Tennessee wins. But like I said, that would put the Cleveland Browns at the Jacksonville Jaguars. But like you said, if Jacksonville does lose and Tennessee does win, which I do want to happen, then that means Steelers are in. But it also means the Browns will be at Houston to play C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, that would be
So
real interesting.
I guess, but I'm glad we're having this talking out period right now, because I've got like we get on these shows and then we get a show ready and everything like that. But here's the thing: like
Yes.
when you actually break it down and have these discussions, Keith, as a fan, as a Browns fan, Tennessee winning cures two ills. I don't look. I know I shouldn't say this because the Browns defense is so good, and people are going to say you shouldn't be afraid of anybody. But guess what? I'm not freaking playing. The Browns are playing, and I'm going to be real with you. C.J. Stroud and Texans scare me more offensively than Jacksonville. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Ed. I really don't want no part of Houston, for real, for real. I don't. I do not. Let me put this up again. And this is a game where normally you would say Jacksonville will win, but Vrabel is kind of like Jason. When you think you got him down, he comes back to get you and shit and stabs you right when you think you're about to get away. And I'm gonna be honest, I got Tennessee winning this game.
Good. I'm good.
I got Tennessee winning this game. They gonna win it somehow, flukily. I don't know how the fuck they gonna do it. Matter of fact, who's starting at quarterback for Tennessee?
I don't know. I should know.
Is it Tannehill? Is it Malik Willis? Or is it Levis? Who knows? I mean, it's one of them games that I'm not gonna be watching, but
right.
It's one of them games where Jacksonville, the way they season has went kerplunk. Tennessee winning wouldn't shock me. Of course, Jacksonville can get their act right together and win because Christian Kirk is on the destination to come back, but I don't think he's coming back today.
No, and also Trevor Lawrence is coming back, and how healthy is he? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I got Tennessee today. Good. Tennessee. Now, because man, but Tennessee got to get a quarterback, or I don't know what they're going to do with Levis. I actually like what I've seen of Levis. Like what I seen when I seen him play Pittsburgh. Yeah. And, so we'll see. Stay tuned for Tennessee. And we got to also wonder, is Vrabel going to be back next year?
Well, I think it comes down to this as well. Keith, think about this. I guess I was watching my friend Keith. Shout out to Keith Engel. He's on one of the Let's Talk Sports shows, but I've been watching him, and he loves me because I comment on stuff, and he's one of our allies, and we like him. But he was saying he's a Boston guy, and he was saying I guess Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick next week are having a meeting, and the word is we will find out after that meeting and right away, because I don't think it's going to be one of those things. Is Bill staying in with the Patriots, or I think after that meeting, either Bill stays or goes. I think there's going to be a swift decision, and I think obviously the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots was made promises by Robert Kraft that he'd probably get the job, but he's scheduled to meet with other teams.
Wow.
As well. So, but could Vrabel go back to New England? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think Tennessee and what he was saying, and I kind of believe this. I think that if you believe Will Levis is the guy, and you honestly believe Tennessee took a step back because they got a little bit of an aging roster and you need to influx it with some more talent. Maybe Vrabel is still the right guy. It's just like, it's just one of those things where, okay, fine, he had a 6 and 11 year or whatever like that. But maybe next, you know what I'm saying? Like he builds back up, kind of like, like back in the 80s when you'd actually keep a coach and then kind of actually keep him long enough. Even Don Shula went through, you know what I'm saying? Even Chuck Noll for the Steelers. You get those.
He went through their lean years.
Yeah, he gets through their lean years. Maybe Stefanski had lean years. He did good in 2020. He had lean years the next 2 years. Now the Browns are up on their upswing again, and we make the playoffs the next 4 years.
Right, exactly. So remains to be seen. So let's head to tonight. Ain't no Monday night game, thank God. But ain't no.
There is a Monday night game. We'll talk about that. Michigan, Washington. We'll talk about.
Oh yeah, that we're going to talk about that too. But also tonight, which determines the AFC East. We have Buffalo against the Fish, the Fighting Tuas, the Miami Dolphins. Who you got, Ed?
Well, in the honor of Snowflake, the dolphin that went missing in Ace Ventura, I'm going to say the mammal fish pull this off. And, I would thought a couple of weeks ago, I thought Buffalo, after they got that win in Kansas City, that they're gonna, do it and make the playoffs and everything. But Mm.
You
Go ahead,
actually
Keith.
think about it. Buffalo hasn't played well in the last couple of weeks.
That's what I was getting. They're not. They've been, but they're not shockingly. There's something missed. This team is flat. People thought, okay, Buffalo kind of went through. We were talking about this all year on Locked On Sports 216. I've been saying they don't look like the Buffalo team in the last 2 to 3 years. But this year
Yes.
they started out, they were flat, but then they kind of peaked. Okay, we thought, well, they didn't actually peak, Keith. You know what it was? It was the media building them up after they beat Kansas City, and they didn't actually peak. Like, oh, they're going to win the next couple of games, and they did win the next couple but they never ever got back to that fashion of winning that they had been dominant the past 2 to 3 years. And I'm going to say, like you kind of are thinking, and I think what you're alluding to here is they are going to fall flat to the Mammal Fish today. I don't think they're the team that we thought they were. And I think that's a little bit shocking to me. Maybe this Buffalo thing is a little bit more dead than what people are kind of letting on to believe.
Because if they fall to the Mammal Fish today, they fall right out the playoffs.
Yes.
And prepare for change.
Yeah. Yep.
Prepare for change. It's going to be Black Monday tomorrow. I got the Mammal Fish winning because, think about it. They got their ass handed to them last week against Baltimore.
Yeah, in a game that, honestly, if they didn't play so sloppy, the game would have been a lot closer. I know it turned out to be a blowout, but there's a lot. I mean, they were moving the ball. It wasn't like they weren't doing it. They just kept doing stupid shit, interception, things like that. But, give the Ravens credit. Maybe that defense is just that damn good. I don't know.
Yes. But I got Miami winning somehow, some way.
Yeah, I didn't even give a score because I don't even know. It could be a 23 to 20 game. It could be a 41 to 38. It could be a 13 to. I don't know. There's two teams where I don't know what's going to happen. I just hope Miami wins, and I think they're going to win by at least 3.
Sean McDermott, pack your bags.
You think if Buffalo doesn't make it, that McDermott might be? Or do you think they would give him, because he has been pretty dominant the past 2 to 3 years? Disappointing though in the playoffs. Or do you think?
I think this year something just is not right with that football team.
Yeah, I would agree. They're lacking. They're missing something.
And I think they're going to make changes. And now their philosophy has changed. Now they're more of a run-oriented team now, and I think they're going to have a fire. I think they're going to get rid of Stephon Diggs. I think they're probably going to draft a receiver in the draft and start anew for Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? They're probably going to go after more offensive help of receiving.
Okay. Well, if they're taking a step back as a Browns fan, I'm sorry to hear that. But, I've been 20 years stuck in the mud.
Think about it. Think about it. This team was supposed to be a Super Bowl contender.
Exactly.
And they're not contending for the Super Bowl.
You know what this team reminds me of? The 1989 Browns, when they had lost 86, 87 AFC Championship games.
Yep.
88 they lost to Houston, but 89 they went to the AFC Championship game and lost. And then at 1990, basically till 93, 94. I mean, it was rebuilding.
Yes.
And this team reminds me of the Bills. Could be this 89 Browns team where the next 2 to 3 years might be a rebuilding. But you know what? They got Josh Allen, and hopefully he stays healthy.
They got Josh Allen, and if they get in, they could actually go to the Super Bowl.
They could. I think any team in the AFC could. I think any team in the AFC could.
And it's the outlier this year. But honestly, if Buffalo loses, expect changes.
Okay.
Expect change everywhere. Only one you might recognize there is Josh Allen. That's it. I'm just gonna be real.
Okay. All right.
For real.
Bills Mafia got to take out some people.
Yes, they're gonna throw somebody on the table.
Okay, fair enough.
Which now we're going to the game that really means little or no consequence to us, but it's a game that has to be played. Cleveland Browns at Cincinnati Bengals. Browns ain't playing nobody for real, and Cincinnati is 8-8. Now, only question is, do my prediction ring where all 4 teams in the AFC North finish over 500? Ed, what you got to say?
The answer is no. Give me the Browns 21-16. I think the Fighting Driscolls get it done today because I think there's just something sad in Cincinnati, and I think they're going to be that one team that put your prediction because the Bengals will finish at 8-9. Sorry, Keith, didn't want to have to do that, but it's just something about Driscoll. I'm a big Driscoll fan, Joe.
Well, I don't know. Is Browning playing or is Chase and them playing?
I heard Chase might play. But that was like 2-3 days ago, and I don't know if that's changed because.
I say, damn. I say, shit, game I don't even want to predict. I say, fuck it. I say the Browns 20-17. They figure it out, pull it out late.
Yeah, I kind of think that.
And since Cincinnati under 500,
yeah.
Joe Burrow will be standing on the sideline.
But what do you want to Chase? You made 2 predictions. You made a prediction that every team in the AFC North would be above 500, and you made a prediction just now. So you can always just predict the Bengals to win, and then I won't hold it against you because I don't want your predictions to be wrong. If you want to say it doesn't change it. I know it doesn't change it. I didn't want you to be like, oh, fuck it, I'm picking the Browns because you were looking at that stat. Because that's
it's one of them games where it's like.
I mean, I'll allow you because I won't hold it against you. That's all I'm saying. Because I understand. I would want my prediction of everybody above 500 to come true more than just meaningless games.
Fuck it. I'm standing back. I did say the Browns 11-6.
Yeah, you did.
Cincinnati will somehow pull this game out.
There you go. All right, let's go.
Browning will figure out a way somehow, and hey, or the Browns will double down till they turn over stats and everything, and get a turnover at the end, and give Cincinnati the game, and every team in AFC North will finish over 500.
We clip that. When you're right, you're right. I mean,
exactly, because it's like I don't know. Just goes 1-9 as a starter.
I mean, he doesn't win. Okay, I'll give you that.
You're right about that. We don't even want to go through with that. But hey, we also got a national championship game coming up tomorrow on Monday night. Thank God it ain't no NFL football on tomorrow. But the Washington Huskies, which this will in the future be a future Big Ten matchup after this season. At NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, the Washington Huskies will be taking on the Michigan Wolverines, which could be Jim Harbaugh's last game at Michigan. Remains to be seen.
You know what I like one thing I like about those graphics is the fact that if you look at the Huskies compared to the Wolverines, I like the Husky symbol better because they already got the W. So give me Washington.
Oh, you're going with the upset. Okay.
Honestly, I don't believe it's that much of an upset. Here's why. Look, Alabama to me is one of those teams you look at where they play physical. So you can judge yourself against them because they play physical. So it made Michigan not exactly how they want to play, but Michigan figured it out. And if you actually look at it, Michigan dominated that game. It's just
yes, they did. They did dominate that game.
But the difference is when you're playing Alabama and you're playing like a MAC school, for instance, say Michigan would be up, 50-3, but even with playing the way they're playing, it's just when you're playing Alabama, who's a physical team. Washington, to me, they're getting knocked on being physical. I watched a lot. I'll be honest with you.
They're physical.
A lot of Washington football this year, and
that team is physical, dude.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, the national narrative is they're not. I mean, I've listened to a lot of people say that, but I've watched a lot of what I'm saying, and they play away. You're right. They may be not as physical in that let's attack the person, but they're more of a let's move people this way so we can get the offense going this way. Michael Penix, and they're very good with misdirections, and they're physical enough and smart enough to move their players where they want to play. So I think it's more of a challenge for Michigan that way because Michigan knew head to head they were more dominant physically than Alabama. Even though give Alabama, they're an SEC team and they're always going to be strong, just like Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? They're always going to get the physicality of them is always going to make it a competitive game. But and that's why I think Washington, gets it done because I think they're more creative offensively. And I do like your last point or your last statement because I think it's true. Win or lose, I do believe it'll be Jim Harbaugh's last game at the University of Michigan. And it's like Roy Williams. It'll be like a Roy Williams was at Kansas when he lost the national championship game. I think that was his last game. And when they were interviewing him, CBS, and he's like, I don't give a shit about North Carolina because after they had just lost the national championship, even though the rumors were you're leaving Kansas to go to North Carolina. Like it wasn't a secret. We all knew you were going.
Everybody knew.
Everybody knew. And I think that's kind of like the Harbaugh thing. Harbaugh doesn't have a team that he knows he's going to. I think he knows he's going to Team NFL and just insert team here.
Yeah. I think Michigan is going to go out on top.
Damn you.
I'm just going to be honest. Usually if Michigan was going to lose, they would have lost to Alabama last week.
Right, Keith, damn it.
For real. And that's how Harbaugh's going to go out on top, and he's going to leave Michigan, and then, all the other shit going to fly on Michigan, and then the players want to pay for it. But it is what it is. And like I said, you remember on that thing, I'll get to this. I got Michigan winning it, though. But I will say this. Penix and them will make it interesting.
I agree. I definitely agree to that.
And if Penix bring his full tool shot to the game, I wouldn't even be shocked if Washington wins. But I think Michigan's physicality is a little bit more than Washington's.
What I really liked about Washington? Obviously, I like Michael Penix, and I felt like we got robbed as Buckeye fans because we had Marvin Harrison Jr., Maserati Marv, according to Gus Johnson. But there was a better connection in college football than even McCord to Harrison. And I watched a lot
to that one cat.
I watched a lot of Huskies football, and the most beautiful interactions I've seen between quarterback and wide receiver was Michael Penix Jr. to Rome Oduzzi of Washington. Yes. That receiver, I think, you know what? I know Marvin Harrison is, you got to take him, but Rome Oduzzi is going to be a player. He is a great wide receiver.
Yes.
I think he could have a day against the Wolverines.
Hopefully, if he can move down somehow to the second round, maybe the Browns.
Yeah, I know. The wishful thinking. I think he's a first rounder.
I know. I think he's a first rounder, too. Actually, Washington got a pretty nice offensive squad.
They really
They got about 3 receivers that's pretty good.
Yep.
Along with the running back. And hopefully the running back plays tomorrow because he suffered injury last week. Yep. Almost made that game interesting than it should have been. But... Yeah. But if Penix puts out the whole tool shop, because remember at Indiana, he was a running quarterback.
He dominated the Buckeyes that one game. I know, the stats he put up, holy shit, we couldn't stop him.
He ran through the whole Big Ten that year, but he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I got Michigan winning at 28-24.
See, I think it's going to be higher scoring. Give me Washington 38, Michigan 35, and it could be 40.
I tell you this, if it's in the 20s, Michigan going to win.
I agree to that. And if it's in the 30s, well, I definitely
30s. That's Penix in them gang.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yep.
Now, let me ask you this: where do you think Penix is going in the draft in the first round?
I thought before this whole before he beat Texas, which I don't know why. To me, he never changed in what I would have evaluated him as. But I'm just saying, I think what I've been hearing lately is, started out, first round or whatever like this. I think he might now be top 12, top 10. And I think if he wins, look, I saw Vince Young. I saw Vince Young go from basically, I can't throw at Texas, but we just won the national championship in the greatest game ever against USC. Probably even better than the Buckeyes against Miami. I love the Buckeyes, but that game was so sick. Then I think he could be top 5 because, like I said, he's definitely better than Vince Young.
Hell yeah, he's way better than Vince Young. Shit. Matter of fact, to me, Penix is the second best quarterback in the draft.
I can't, from a pure passing standpoint, it's hard to argue. He's Steve Young. He's freaking Steve Young.
And the dude is accurate. He's accurate. He's not accurate. He's accurate.
Yes.
He is accurate. That dude is fire. I think he's like the second pick. All depends on who needs a quarterback, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's why I say top 5, just in case there's a couple teams that don't. Well, you know what I'm saying? That's all.
Yep. Now, real quick, let me ask you a question real quick because we got a few more things.
Okay.
If you were Chicago Bears, what would you do?
Okay. As being doing, because being a Browns fan means your QB situation has been under fire, just like in Chicago. Look, I think the prudent thing to do would be, keep Justin Fields to get Marvin Harrison and do it that way. But I think Justin Fields just needs a scenery change, just like Baker did.
Yeah.
Do the kid a favor. Do yourselves a favor. Thank Justin Fields for trying. Move him on somewhere and get the kid from USC, Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And then just because they need a reset. They need a reset. And I could see Justin Fields reviving his career. And you know what I'm saying? It's just best for both. I think if he stayed there, could he over? But it's just there's something. Maybe it's cursed. Maybe it just wasn't. Maybe like Baker in Cleveland, it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, because I think like this. If I'm Chicago, Fields, I ain't gonna lie, that dude's a highlight reel. But being 10 and 27 as a starter, even though I don't think it's all his fault.
It's not. It's not.
He's had to look at the draw as offensive philosophies and coaches at Chicago. Like earlier this season, they was telling him just to stay in the pocket. I'm like, you got the ultimate weapon. What the you mean stay in the pocket?
You can't just because his mind. You can't tell somebody to not do something. It doesn't make sense. He's a gifted athlete. Like you got to let him.
And I think if I was Chicago, I'd try to trade Fields if I can.
I would.
I'd try to trade Fields, and I would try to move up. I would try to get Caleb Williams
and Marvin Harrison and do a whole new refresh.
See, you're thinking just like I am. I'll move up.
Right off, bam, fireworks.
Either get Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison, or even get Caleb, or get Caleb Williams or Romaduzzi, or get Caleb Williams and the best left tackle in the draft.
That's fair. I don't like that. That's like the Joe Thomas, Brady Quinn. I get that.
Yes. To keep that dude upright.
That's fair enough. There's nothing wrong with that philosophy. But get somebody else. Get another offensive weapon.
Yes. Now, and like I said, and Justin Fields, trade him to Atlanta or somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trade him somewhere where he has an offensive coach.
Just not Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Don't do that.
Don't do that to us.
Don't do that. But anyway, if you don't give a fuck about football today, I got some other things for you. If you don't give a fuck about football today, if you don't, and you better hurry your ass up, because also it's the one and only appearance. You're going to go to basketball real quick.
Oh.
Of San Antonio Spurs rookie Victor Wembanyama. As the Spurs are in Cleveland taking on the Cavs at 1 o'clock. And it's on Bally Sports Ohio. Check him out. If you don't give a fuck about the football game today, which I won't blame y'all if y'all don't watch. For real. You don't give a fuck about football. Check it out. Victor Wembanyama's only appearance, and dude showed his ass against Giannis, even though he came up short.
That's weird. He's too tall to come up short.
Then, if you're a true basketball junkie, and you know what I'm about to go into, Ed. Or maybe you don't know what I'm about to go to. If you're a true basketball junkie, and I think they've been listening to my ass, check this out. You can go down the street after the game. You go to Cleveland State. Cleveland State Vikings at 4 o'clock take on the Northern Kentucky Norsemen, which is a rematch of last year's Horizon League Championship, which the Norsemen came up ahead of us by 1 point to go to the NCAAs. But that's at 4 o'clock. And that's the only game in town, Ed, at that time.
That is hot Horizon League basketball, Keith. I'm all in for it. I cannot wait. You look at the two symbols, too. You got the Norsemen, you got the Vikings. I mean, two classic European, older style, Scandinavian warmen going at it. I mean, what could be more exciting than that? You know, that is like, I mean.
And if you can't get down there, go on your Hulu app, go on ESPN Plus if you got the combo. I got the combo, so hell. So no, it is what it is. But anyway,
Thor. Huh? I think Thor is watching that game.
Yes, he'll probably be down there in attendance.
Yeah, Thor will be there.
Take a picture with Thor and get a free hot dog.
There you go. Right.
But Cleveland State has been listening to me. Yeah. They listened to me this time. 4 o'clock, you can just go right down the street, or you can watch it on Hulu, ESPN Plus. But anyway, everybody enjoy the game. We'll come back on 30 minutes after the game, win or lose, saying no big deal.
I have a special surprise for the post game. This one is dedicated to Keith. I was thinking about busting it out. I forgot. Sorry, but it's coming out for the post game. And you know what's so great? You kind of promoted it just recently, probably just the last thing you did. So that's my only tease right there. So be back at the post game to check that out.
All right, and we out. Locked On Sports 216. Go Browns, go Cavs. Get it in. We out.
Go Browns.
Yes. Peace.
Go Brownies, here we go. Here we go Brownies, here we go. Here we go Brownies. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go Brownies. Here we go. Here we go Brownies. Here we go. Here we go Brownies. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Cleveland is the city and town, orange and brown. You know what's going down. We reppin' that dog pound. Fans going crazy. Dogs want a bone. Offense headed straight to the end zone. Ground game, pound game, this is our season. Now we need to stop. Let's go defense, special team, running back 6 for the score. Extra point good and the whole crowd roar. Here we go Brownies, here we go. Here we go Brownies, here we go. Here we go Brownies, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.